Hey guys, my name is Loveless, and this time we're here with another story. This one's like kind of short chapters, so it should be pretty easy for me to edit, I hope. So this one is called A High Pitched Cry for Help. Izuku had a loving family until he didn't. Izuku had friends until he didn't. Izuku always talked and mumbled until he didn't. It actually was a progressive change that led to his life to be what it currently was. It all started a few years back, the day Izuku became Deku, the day that Izuku was diagnosed quirkless. The first time he realized that life was unfair was at the doctor's office, but the first time he connected being quirkless with being lonely was the next day after school. Next day at school. Kachan was always a bit mean to everyone. And why wouldn't he? Kachan was better than even the teachers. But once he realized he was quirkless, Kachan was not the only one being mean to him. Kachan started encouraging everyone to be mean to him. Izuku remembered thinking at some point that it was probably okay. If the teachers at preschool also called him names, he probably did something wrong. If Mama didn't say anything about him being treated poorly by his peers, she probably knew that he did something wrong. If Papa stopped saying goodbye before going to work, he also probably noticed how bad Izuku must have been behaving. Izuku thought it was mean for them not to tell him how to be good, but maybe it was something that he had to figure out himself. After all, he is 4. Almost an adult, he thought. By the age of 5, he already knew that being quirkless was bad. Kachan made sure to let him know as everyone else. Papa went from not saying goodbye before work to not talking to him at all. Izuku had either eaten before Papa come home or eaten in his room while Mama and Papa ate at the table. It made him a little sad, but the adults must have their reasons. Maybe their conversations were only for grown-ups. Yeah, that must be it. He was just too young to understand, right? Every once in a while, Mama forgot to give Izuku his meal to take to preschool, but that was okay. She worked really hard after all. He can do fine with just only eating dinner. Until Mama stopped cooking dinner. By the age of 6, Izuku was almost another kid completely. Mama now ignored his existence completely. He gotten himself to preschool. He gotten himself dinner whenever he could find in the cabinet when no one would look. He got himself dressed and learned by watching videos how to tie his shoes, open cans of food. He even learned how to wash his clothes, kinda. He used the shampoo. It smelled really nice, even if it left his clothes feeling stiff sometimes. And more importantly, he learned to be silent. Hazashi, as he called now to his father, really liked silence. He was almost never home, leaving for months at a time. But when he was, Izuku knew better than to let him know that he was there. Izuku knew that people disliked the quirkless. That was what most people referred to him anyways. But there was no one who hated the quirkless more than Hazashi. It started with some pushing and pulling. After the few days of pushing from Hazashi escalated to full kicks. It really catched Izuku off guard, but it's like he learned, and he learned quickly, that to not being kicked you hide. Just like in preschool. Izuku was grateful though. Although Izuku had many things, according to the news lady, the quirkless didn't have. He had a home, he had a family, he had food, most of the time at least. Izuku was grateful for that. Izuku liked to pass the time watching videos in his room. He was glad he knew how to read. Having subtitles really helped him be fully silent. He even turned off the lights to give his parents the full experience of not having any children, to feel completely invisible. Though videos and the news, Izuku learned that the quirkless didn't live long. It must be a disease then, he thought. He probably was slowly dying and his parents were only mourning. Everyone mourns differently, right? The nice lady on the news said most Quirkless were dead by the age of 30. Izuku remembered thinking that it was probably painful towards the end, too. Why else would the nice lady say that the Quirkless commit suicide? Izuku was getting used to the pain. Maybe Izuku was going to make it past 30. He could become a hero before 30 and die a hero, right? That was enough for him. Izuku really loved heroes. He remembered reading about how heroes must have a strong sense of survival instincts. He was young, alright, but Izuku was really good at surviving. He fed himself, he was an expert at hiding, and he knew how to handle pain, courtesy of Kachan learning to use his quirk. Izuku could be a fine hero. The first quirkless hero, saving people and die young. That sounded like a dream to him. Except Izuku soon find out he wasn't quirkless. Yay, we done. Okay, next chapter real fast. It's gonna be real fast. So if you want to see more of this, you know what to do.